this 7th session on the shortcut keys of Microsoft Excel. This session we are going to see about shortcut keys on navigating inside the selected text blocks. If you have not watched other 6 videos, I will share it on the description. Please watch the 6 videos. This session we are going to see about shortcut keys on navigate inside the selected text blocks. Navigating. Okay. First, let me select that table. So, you know how to select the table. Probably in the last session, we have seen how to select the entire table. Or else we'll recap it again. I can select the entire table. There are various methods available. Let me use one method, that is Control A. I'm selecting the entire table. So now I have selected the entire table. Now I want to navigate within this table. Within this table, we want to navigate. For example, I want to move to the next cell. Now my cursor is at the cell number A17. I want to move to the next cell. So you can use 2 keys. One is the tab key within the selection. Without removing the selection, when you press tab, 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 you can see it moves on the right hand side. Similarly, if I press shift tab, shift tab, shift tab, shift tab, it moves on the left hand side. So within the selected range, I want to move to the next cell or the previous cell. You can use the tab key. Or else I want to go to the next cell downwards. You can see enter, 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 enter. It moves to the next cell downwards. Similarly, shift enter, shift enter, shift enter, shift enter. It moves to the previous cell. Correct? So these are all within the selected range of cells. Now I want to go to the. I can use another shortcut key. Shift Backspace. Shift Backspace. What Shift Backspace will do is it will make the current cell as the active cell. So where is my cell? That becomes my active cell. That becomes, it deselects everything and the current cell becomes the active cell. Shift Backspace. Shift Backspace. Okay. And I will select the entire table again. I will use the same shortcut key, Control A. You can see sometimes Control A, it goes to the last cell. I want to move the very first cell. I want to move the very first cell. You can use another shortcut key, Control Backspace. Control Backspace, which places the cursor on the very first cell, which moves my cursor to the very first cell. Okay. Now, as we have selected the entire table, I want to see the border, maybe the first cell and the last cell within the selection. Within the selection, we want to select the first cell and the last cell or the end cell. Okay, so we can use another shortcut key, Control dot, full stop. All people will call it as a period. Correct, Control dot. So I am pressing Control dot one time. You can see from the first cell, it automatically moves to the last cell on the right hand side. Another time I am using the same Control dot, it goes to the last cell, bottommost last cell. And another Control dot, it goes to the left hand side. So it navigates to the border of the cells, all the borders. It moves to all the borders. Control dot, Control dot, Control dot. You can see it moves to the first cell, on the right hand side the first cell, on the bottom last cell, on the bottom last cell on the left hand side. So if you want to navigate through your borders, you can use this Control dot, Control dot. If I selected only a particular column, for example, I am selecting only this particular column, Control Shift down arrow, which we have seen in the earlier session also, Control Shift down arrow. Now I want to see the first cell and last cell, same Control dot. You can press the Control dot, you can see my cursor goes to the last cell, same Control dot, my cursor goes to the first cell. Okay, so we have seen how to move within the selected range of cells. Now I want to continuously select some range of cells. For example, I want to select from A10 to some other range here. Some other range I want to select it here. So let me use a shortcut key, functional key, F8. F8. In some keyboards you have to press function F8. Correct? So let me press F8. When I press F8, you would have noticed on the bottom on your status bar, it shows something like extend selection. Extend selection. That means you can extend your selection. Okay, now what I do is, my cursor is at A10, I pressed F8 and I'm not doing anything. Just I go to any cell, whichever I want to select, just I make a click here. No need for clicking and dragging. First cell F8 and I go to the last cell and just make a click. That's it. It automatically selects. First cell to the last cell, it automatically selects here. No need for holding the shift key or control key or nothing is required. First cell F8, click on the very last cell. Okay, so now if you want to switch off this extend selection, If you want to switch off the extended selection, you can press the same F8 key or you can press escape. F8 also can be pressed. F8 also can be pressed. Or in the mouse, there is a scroll bar available. So it's scrolling on your mouse. When you use the scroll also, it will be switched off. Let me use any one of it. I am pressing F8. You can see the extended range is switched off. Click on the first cell, press F8 and you can just go to the last cell and make a click. Or if you are using the keyboard, you can just press down arrow, down arrow. No need for holding any key. Normally we will hold a shift key for selecting, right? Now I am just pressing down arrow. I am not holding any key and I am pressing the right arrow. So you can see it is extending your selection. Shift 8 is used for extending the range of selection. Continuous range of selection. To switch off it, you can press same F8 or you can press escape also. This is the one part. Now I place the cursor on the very first cell once again. So how can I go to the very first cell? Shift backspace, which we saw in the earlier cell just now. Now I want to select the non-continuous ranges of cells. Non-continuous. Maybe I want to select it from A column some cells, C column some cells, E column some cells. Now you can use Shift F8. Shift F8. Earlier we used just F8. Now I am pressing Shift F8. Some keyboards you can press Shift function F8. Correct? On the bottom, you can see it shows a message add or remove selection. Add or remove selection. Now, multiple range of cells can be selected here. Multiple non-continuous ranges of cells, non-adjacent cells. For example, I am selecting this first range. I am not holding any key, just I am selecting the first range. I can just drag and I am selecting the first range. And I go to the second range. I am selecting the second range. And I go to the third range. I am selecting the third range. And I am selecting the fourth range. Fifth range. Like this, multiple ranges of cells can be selected here. Multiple ranges of cells, non-continuous ranges of cells. To switch off this, you can use same escape or you can use the same Shift F8 or as I told, mouse scroll also. Anything can be used. Let me press escape to switch off this add or remove selection. Okay. Now, assume that I have selected the non-continuous ranges of cells. Let me use the same Shift F8 and I am going to select the non-continuous ranges of cells. Maybe the first range here and second range here and third range here. I selected the non-continuous ranges of cells. Now we can use another shortcut key. Now where is my cursor? My cursor is at G10 here. I want to go to the previous selected area. Previous selection. I want to go to the previous selection. Control Alt left arrow. Control Alt left arrow. You can see it replaces the cursor to the previous selection. First cell. Control Alt left arrow. Control Alt left arrow. Similarly, Control Alt right arrow. Control Alt right arrow. It goes to the next selection range. When you have selected the multiple ranges of selection, non-adjacent selections, then we can use this Control Alt right arrow, Control Alt left arrow for selecting it. Okay. That's it on the shortcut keys of navigating inside the selected text box. See you in the next video.